Umaril the Unfeathered has been defeated, again, for all time. I did what Pelennor Whitestrike could not do, and that was end this Daedric champion for good. Now I can focus on stopping Mehrunes Dagon and the Mythic Dawn, though to be honest, the portals are open everywhere, but no more overt moves have been made. The threat seems obvious enough, but we are at a stalemate, at least here in Cyrodiil. With Umaril gone, it is quite the relief to have another threat that just appeared eliminated. As I said, this is the perfect time for all those who wish to try and grab their share of something before it is too late, because I do believe that many think that this is the beginning of Mehrunes Dagon's rule. However, there is a bit of a different approach to that by the Mythic Dawn themselves. One that might not be so bad, depending on how you perceive things. It is pretty undisputed that Mundus was conceived in the mind of Lorkhan, and that there are many Atata that were tricked into also taking part in its creation, which took nearly all of their energy. Many more escaped, though. But there could easily be hundreds here that were stuck in creating and maintaining our realm. There was a blurb in the Mythic Dawn commentaries about returning this world to Lorkhan, since it was taken from him. How that would be accomplished, or what the end result would be like, is for me totally unknown, if Mehrunes Dagon were to succeed. I do not think that there would be anything but destruction and chaos in all of our world if he was given a free hand to do what he wanted. Would Lorkhan return and be the one god for this realm then? The Mythic Dawn believed this to be the Oblivion realm of Lorkhan, or whatever name he would take, as Lorkhan is known by many different ones. Shor for the Nords, Shezar for many others. It was the Elven gods who overthrew and attempted to destroy Lorkhan. But if they were to do so, they would destroy all of Mundus. So they settled for taking out his heart and throwing it far away, which apparently landed in what is today Morrowind, which created Red Mountain. That has been the history of worship between the elves and men. Elves see Mundus as a prison, and men see Lorkhan as their creator, for without him they wouldn't exist. Elves take many of the views of the Atata, and men, well, we see Lorkhan as essential for us to have come into being. So we have two different general philosophies, or at least we used to. Saint Alessia combined both sides' gods into one, the Nine Divines, but left out Lorkhan. It was a compromise. Both sides were not entirely happy, but both sides were not completely upset either. She did this to unite the different groups of people, the Needs and the Aelids of Cyrodiil, into one, though if the Nords have been more heavily involved, I'm sure that they would have taken great offense to having Shor removed from the Pantheon, as Shor is very important to the Nords' religion. Now I do find it odd that the Mythic Dawn will be calling Mehrunes Dagon to Mundus to free Lorkhan from his imprisonment, or whatever state he might be in. In the face of all of this, Umaril the Unfeathered loses much of his significance. But at the least, he is one less threat that no longer has to be worried about. Okay, Vilya, you decide. Where are we gonna go?
This is strange. I have received a note from Heneri. You never guess what she says.
A letter from Heneri? Tell me, please.
She says she's so grateful to us for bringing back her husband's skull that she wants to do something for us in return. For me in particular, actually. I wonder what she means. Pretty please. Let's pay her a visit as soon as possible. I'm so curious.
I suppose so. How about traveling together?
Yes? You do want us to stay together, right?
Mm-hmm. How about you lead the way?
All right. So, where do you want me to take you?
A favorite place? Oh, take the lead and surprise me.
Now, this will be fun.
I'm following. I have no idea where she plans to go, but obviously it's on the western half of Cyrodiil. hope she's just not going to lead me to, like, a town or something. Let's see what happens. Sylvelia has brought me to a place to swim, telling me that the cold is nothing compared to how it is in Solstheim, and it doesn't matter if there's a storm happening right now. Well, down here by the bridge, it's deeper. I really can't believe that I'm all here doing this. Oh yeah. I do ever so like looking at her when she's in that bathing suit. Even Wolfgang is with us. And a dead mud crab that Vilya had killed earlier. Yeah, I think I'm showing off a little bit more than I'd like to. And it's a little cold, but Vilya says that this is nowhere near as cold as it is in Solstheim during the summer. So, oh my god, it's so cold. Wolfgang, where are you? Okay, I gotta get out. I think parts of me are gonna freeze and fall off. Let's head in. Let's head into a place and dry off. So this is this little village, White Rose Farm. Apparently this is the manor, but these are very poor people. Yeah, time to put on my drier clothes for a while. Well, I don't want to get sick, so I'll just sit here in my dry clothes and warm up by the fire. It's actually a good time to read one of the books that I have, actually. I can't believe Vilya took me to that swimming hole. Maybe during the summertime would be nice, but I mean, look at the time of year it is. Evening Star. It's the final day of the month. Or sorry, final month of the year, I should say. I'm just trying to get warm here. 13th day, last month. It is very cold out. Maybe you can get away with doing that down in Leyawiin, but oof, not up here, not by the Imperial City. Especially Lake Ramar. I know it's just a tributary, but still. Okay, so, now I would like to read. I can find it. Yes, The Real Baronzaya, Part 2. By Anonymous. I really wonder who wrote these books. Baronzaya and Straw settled into Riften for the winter. Spelling it wrong. It's an E-N. Taking a cheap room in the slummier section of town. Baronzaya wanted to join the Thieves Guild, knowing there would be trouble if she were caught freelancing. She's still with Straw? One day in a barroom, she caught the eye of a known member of the guild, a bold young Khajiit named Theris. She offered to bet him if he would sponsor her membership. He looked her over, grinning, and agreed, but said she'd still have to pass an initiation. What sort of initiation? Ah, Theris said. Pay up first, sweetness. This passage has been censored by order of the temple. Wow. You know what? I mean, some men may not feel this way, but whatever. Whatever woman is in the way of getting into anything I want. Sorry, I have some standards here. I cannot believe that she's actually the Queen of Morrowind. Wow. If this is real, if it's true. Straw was going to kill her, and maybe Theris too. I really can't blame him, actually. What in Tamriel had possessed her to do such a thing? She cast an apprehensive look around the room, but the other patrons had lost interest and gone back to their own business. She did not recognize any of them. This wasn't the inn where she and Straw were staying. With luck, it'd be a while, or never, before Straw found out. Theris was by far the most exciting and attractive man she had yet met. That? A Khajiit. Most exciting... Oh, okay. He not only told her about the skills she needed to become a member of the Thieves Guild, but also trained her in them himself, or else introduced her to people who could. Among these was a woman who knew something about magic. Katisha was a plump and matronly Nord. She was married to a smith, had 2 teenage children, and was perfectly ordinary and respectable, except that she was very fond of cats, and by logical inference, their humanoid counterparts, the Khajiit, had a talent for certain kinds of magic, and cultivated rather odd friends. She taught Baronzaya an invisibility spell and schooled her in other forms of stealth and disguise. Katisha mingled magical and non-magical talents freely, using one set to enhance the... close the book. Enhance the other. She was not a member of the Thieves Guild, but was fond of Theris in a motherly sort of way. Baronzaya warmed to her as she never had towards any woman, and over the next few weeks she told Katisha all about herself. She brought Straw there, too, sometimes. Straw approved of Katisha, but not of Theris. Theris found Straw interesting, and suggested to Baronzaya that they arrange what he called a threesome. Wow. Okay, this book is taking a different turn than I thought it would, but I guess that's what the real Baronzaya is all about. Absolutely not, Baronzaya said firmly. Grateful that Theris had broached the subject in private for once. He wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it. Theris smiled his charming triangular feline smile and sprawled lazily on his chair, stretching his limbs and curling his tail. You might be surprised, both of you. Pairing is so boring. Baronzaya answered him with a glare. Or maybe you wouldn't like it with that country bumpkin of yours, sweetness. Would you mind if I brought along another friend? Yes, I would. If you're bored with me, you and your friend can find someone else. She was a member of the Thieves Guild now. She had passed their initiation. She found Theris useful, but not essential. Maybe she was a bit bored with him, too. She talked to Katisha about her problems with men, or what she thought of her as her problems with men. Katisha shook her head and told her that she was looking for love, not sex, that she'd know the right man when she found him, that neither Straw nor Theris was the right one for her. Baronzaya cocked her head to one side quizzically. They say dark elven women are something? Prostitutes? She said, although she was dubious. You mean promiscuous? Although some do become prostitutes, I suppose, Katisha said as an afterthought. Elves are promiscuous when they're young, but you'll outgrow it. Perhaps you're beginning to already, she added hopefully. She liked Baronzaya, had grown to be quite fond of her. You ought to meet some nice elven boys, though. If you go on keeping company with Khajiits and humans and what have you, you'll find yourself pregnant in next to no time. Baronzaya smiled involuntarily. I'd like that, I think, but it would be inconvenient, wouldn't it? Babies are a lot of trouble, and I don't even have my own house yet. How old are you, Barry? 17? Well, you're a year or two yet before you're fertile. Unless you're very unlucky, you don't have children readily with other elves after that. Even so, you'll be all right if you stick with them. Baronzaya remembered something else. Straw wants to marry. Is that what you want? No, it's okay. Yes, okay. But not if I can't be queen. And not just any queen. The Queen of Mournhold. She said this determinedly, almost stubbornly, as if to drown out any doubt. Katisha chose to ignore this last comment. She was amused at the girl's hyperactive imagination, took it as a sign of a well-functioning mind. I think Straw will be a very old man before someday comes, Barry. Elves live for a very long time. Katisha's face briefly wore the envious, wistful look humans got when contemplating the 1,000-year lifespan elves had been granted by the gods. True, few ever actually lived that long, as disease and violence took their respective tolls, but they could, and one or two of them actually did. I like old men too, Barry said. Katisha laughed. Baronzaya fidgeted impatiently while Theris sorted through the papers on the desk. He was being meticulous and methodical, carefully replacing everything just as he'd found it. They'd broken into a nobleman's house, leaving Straw to hover outside as lookout. Theris had said it was a simple job, but very hush-hush. He hadn't even wanted to bring in any other guild members along. He said he knew he could trust Barry and Straw, but no one else. Tell me what you're looking for, and I'll find it, Barry whispered urgently. Theris's night sight wasn't as good as hers, and he did want her to magic up even a small orb of light. She had never been in such a luxurious place. Not even the Darkmoor castle of Count Sven and Lady Inga, where she had spent her childhood, compared to it. She gazed around in wonder as they made their way through the ornately decorated and hugely echoing downstairs rooms. But Theris didn't seem interested in anything but the desk in the small book-lined study on the upper floor. "Sst!" he hissed angrily. Someone's coming, Barry said, a moment before the door opened and two dark figures stepped into the room. Theris gave her a violent shove toward them and sprang to the window. Barenziah's muscles went rigid and she couldn't move or even speak. She watched helplessly as one of the figures, the smaller one, leaped after Theris. There were two quick, silent stabs of blue light. Then Theris folded over into a still heap. Outside the study, the house had come alive with hastening footsteps and voices calling out in alarm and the clank of armor hurriedly put on. The bigger man, a dark elf by the looks of him, half lifted, half dragged Theris to the floor and thrust him into the waiting arms of another elf. A jerk of the first elf's head sent the smaller blue-robed companion after them. Then he sauntered over to inspect Barenziah, who was once again able to move, although her head throbbed maddeningly when she tried to. "Open your shirt, Barenziah," the elf said. Barenziah gawked at him and clutched it closed. "You're a girl, aren't you, Barry?" he said softly. "You should have stopped dressing as a boy months ago, you know. You were only drawing attention to yourself, and calling yourself Barry. Is your friend Straw too stupid to remember anything else?" "It's a common elven name," Barenziah defended. The man shook his head sadly. "Not among dark elves, it isn't, my dear. But you wouldn't know much about dark elves, would you? I regret that, but it couldn't be helped. No matter, I shall try to remedy it. Who are you?" Barenziah demanded. The man shrugged, smiling wryly. "I am Symmachus, milady Barenziah, General Symmachus of His Awesome and Terrible Majesty Tiber Septim the First's Imperial Army, and I must say it's a merry chase you've led me throughout Tamriel. Or this part of it, anyway. Although I guessed correctly, that you'd head for Morrowind eventually. You had a bit of luck. A body was found in Whiterun that was thought to be Straw's, so we stopped looking for the pair of you. That was careless of me, and I thought you'd have stayed together this long." "Where is he? Is he all right?" she asked in genuine trepidation. "Oh, he's fine, for now. In custody, of course." He turned away. "You care for him, then?" he said, and then suddenly stared at her with fierce curiosity, out of red eyes that seemed strange to her except in her own seldom-seen reflection. "He's my friend," Barenziah said. The words came out in a tone that sounded dull and hopeless to her ears. Symmachus, a general in the Imperial Army, no less, said to have the friendship and ears of Tiber Septim himself. "Aye, you seem to have made several unsuitable friends, if you'll forgive me saying so, milady." "Stop calling me that." She was irritated at the general's seeming sarcasm, but he only smiled. As they talked, the bustle and flurry in the house died away, although she could still hear people, presumably the residents, whispering together not far off. The tall elf perched himself on a corner of the desk. He seemed quite relaxed and prepared to stay a while. Then it occurred to her. Several unsuitable friends, had he said? This man knew all about her, or seemed to know enough anyway, which amounted to the same thing. What's going to happen to them? To me? Ah, as you know, this house belongs to the commander of the Imperial troops in this area, which means to say that it belongs to me. Barenziah gasped, and Symmachus looked up sharply. "What, you didn't know?" "Tisk, tisk. Why? You are rash, milady, even for 17. You must always know what it is you do or get yourself into. But the guild wouldn't have..." Barenziah was trembling. "The Thieves' Guild would never have attempted a mission that crossed Imperial policy. No one dared oppose Tiber Septim. At least no one she knew of. Someone at the guild had bungled badly, and now she was going to pay for it. I dare say it's unlikely that Theris had guild approval for this. In fact, I wonder..." Symmachus examined the desk carefully, pulling out drawers. He selected one, placed it on top of the desk, and removed a false bottom. There was a folded sheet of parchment inside. It seemed to be a map of some sort. Barenziah edged closer. Symmachus held it away for her, laughing. "Rash indeed," he glanced it over, then folded and replaced it. "You advised me a moment ago to seek after knowledge. So I did. Suddenly he seemed to be in high good humor. We must be going, my dear lady." He shepherded her to the door, down the stairs, and out into the night air. No one was about. Barenziah's eyes darted towards the shadows. She wondered if she could outrun him, or elude him somehow. "You're not thinking of attempting to escape, are you? Don't you want to hear first what my plans for you are?" She thought that he sounded a bit hurt. "Now that you mention it, yes. Perhaps you'd rather hear about your friends first?" "No. He looked gratified at this. It was evidently the answer he wanted, thought Baronzaya, but it was also the truth. While she was concerned for her friends, especially Straw, she was far more concerned for herself. You would take your place as the rightful queen of Mournhold. Symmachus explained that this had been his and Tiber Septim's plan for her all along, that Mournhold, which had been under military rule for the dozen or so years since she had been away, was gradually to be returned to civilian government, under the Empire's guidance, of course, and as part of the imperial province of Morrowind. But why was I sent to Darkmoor? Baronzaya asked, hardly believing anything she had just been told. For safekeeping, naturally. Why did you run away? Baronzaya shrugged. I saw no reason to stay. I should have been told. You would have been told by now. I had in fact sent for you to be removed to the Imperial City to spend some time as part of the Emperor's household. But of course you had, shall we say, absconded by then. As for your destiny, it should be and should have been quite obvious to you. Tiber Septim does not keep those he has no use for. And what else could you be that would be of use to him? I know nothing of him, nor, for that matter, of you. Then know this, Tiber Septim rewards friends and foes alike according to their deserts. Baronzaya chewed on that for a few moments. Straw has deceived well of me and has never done anyone any harm. He's not a member of the Thieves' Guild. He came along to protect me. He earns our keep by running errands, and he... Symmachus waved her impatiently to silence. I know all about Straw, he said, and about Theris. He stared at her intently. So, what would you? That's odd. It should be, what would you do? She took a deep breath. Straw wants a little farm. If I'm to be rich, then I would like for him to be given to him. Very well, he seemed astonished at this, and then pleased. Done. He shall have it. And Theris? He betrayed me, Baronzaya said coldly. Theris should have told her what risks the job entailed. Besides, he'd push her right into the enemy's arms in an attempt to save himself. Not a man to be rewarded. Not, in fact, a man to be trusted. Yes, and? Well, he should be made to suffer for it, shouldn't he? That seems reasonable. What form should said suffering take? Baronzaya balled her hands in a fist. She would have liked to beat and claw at the Khajiit herself, but considering the turn events had taken, that didn't seem very queenly. A whipping. Would 20 stripes be too many, do you think? I don't want to do him any permanent injury, you understand. Just teach him a lesson. Aye, of course. Symmachus grinned at this, then his features suddenly set, and became serious. It shall be done, your highness, milady Queen Baronzaya of Mournhold. Then he bowed to her, a sweeping, courtly, ridiculously wonderful bow. Baronzaya's heart leapt. She spent 2 days at Symmachus's apartment, during which she was kept very busy. There was a dark elven woman named Drelian who saw to her needs, although she did not she took her meals with them. Nor did she seem to be Symmachus's wife or lover. Drelian looked amused when Baronzaya asked her about it. She simply said she was in the general's employ and did whatever was asked of her. With Drelian's assistance, several fine gowns and pairs of shoes were ordered for her, plus a riding habit and boots, along with other small necessities. Baronzaya was given a room to herself. Symmachus was out a great deal. She saw him at most mealtimes, but he said little about himself or what he had been doing. He was cordial and polite, quite willing to converse on most subjects, and seemed interested in anything she had to say. Drelian was much the same. Baronzaya found them pleasant enough, but hard to get to know, as Katisha would have put it. She felt an odd twinge of disappointment. These were the first Dark Elves with whom she'd associated closely. She had expected to feel comfortable with them, to feel at last that she belonged somewhere, with somebody, as part of something. Instead she found herself yearning for her Nordic friends, Katisha and Straw. When Symmachus told her they were to set out for the Imperial City on the morrow, she asked if she could say goodbye to them. Katisha, he asked. Aye, but then I suppose I owe her something. It was who led me to you by telling me of a lonely dark elven girl named Barry, who needed elven friends, and who sometimes dressed as a boy. She has no association with the Thieves' Guild, apparently, and no one associated with the Thieves' Guild seems to know your true identity, save Theris. That is well. I prefer that your former guild membership not be made public knowledge. Please speak of it to no one, your highness. Such a past does not become an imperial queen. No one knows but Straw and Theris, and they won't tell anyone. No. He smiled a curious little smile. No, they won't. He didn't know that Katisha knew then, but still, there was something about the way he said it. Straw came to their apartment on the morning of their departure. They were left alone in the salon, although Baronziah knew that other elves were within earshot. He looked drawn and pale. They hugged one another silently for a few minutes. Straw's shoulders were shaking and tears were rolling down his cheeks, but he said nothing. Baronziah tried to smile. So we both get what we want, eh? I'm to be Queen of Moorhold, and you'll be lord of your own farmstead. She took his hand, smiled at him warmly, genuinely. I'll write you, Straw, I promise. You must find a scribe so you can write me too. Straw shook his head sadly. When Baronziah persisted, he opened his mouth and pointed at it. Huh, making inarticulate noises. Then she realized what it was. His tongue was gone, had been cut off. Baronziah collapsed onto a chair and wept noisily. Cruel, yes, very cruel. I don't even know if my father would do such a thing, but... But why? She demanded of Symmachus when Straw had been ushered away. Why? Symmachus shrugged. He knows too much. He could be dangerous. At least he's alive, and he won't need his tongue to raise pigs or whatever. I hate you, Baronziah screamed at him, then abruptly doubled over and vomited on the floor. She continued to revile him between intermittent bouts of nausea. He listened stolidly for some time while Leyawiin cleaned up after her. Finally he told her to cease or he would gag her for their journey to the Emperor. This was Katisha's house on their way out of the city. Symmachus and Leyawiin didn't dismount. All seemed normal, but Baronziah was frightened as she knocked on the door. Katisha answered the knock. Baronziah thanked the gods silently, that at least she was all right. But she'd obviously been weeping. In any case, she embraced Baronziah warmly. Why are you crying? Baronziah asked. For Theris, of course. You haven't heard? Oh dear, poor Theris, he's dead. Baronziah felt icy fingers creeping around her heart. He was caught stealing from the Commandant's house. Poor fellow, but that was so foolish of him. Oh, Barry, he was drawn and quartered this very dawn by the Commandant's order. She started to sob. I went. He asked for me. It was terrible. He suffered so before he died. I'll never forget it. I looked for you and Straw, but no one knew where you'd both gone to. She glanced behind Baronziah. That's the Commandant, isn't it? Symmachus. Then Katisha did a strange thing. She stopped crying and grinned. You know, the moment I saw him, I thought, this is the one for Baronziah. Katisha took a fold of her apron and wiped it across her eyes. I told him about you, you know. Yes, Baronziah said, I know. She took Katisha's hands in each of hers and looked at her earnestly. Katisha, I love you. I'm going to miss you, but please don't ever tell anyone else anything about me. Ever. Swear you won't, especially not to Symmachus, and look after Straw for me. Promise me that. Katisha promised, puzzled, though willing. Barry, it wasn't somehow because of me that Theris was caught, was it? I never said anything about Theris to him. She glanced over at the general. Baronziah assured her that it wasn't, that an informant had told the Imperial Guard of Theris's plans, which was probably a lie, but she could see that Katisha plainly needed some sort of comfort. Oh, I'm glad of that. If I could be glad of anything just now. I'd hate to think, but how could I have known? She leaned over and whispered in Baronziah's ear. Symmachus is very handsome, don't you think? And so charming. I wouldn't know about that, Baronziah said dryly. I haven't really thought about it. There have been other things to think about. She explained hurriedly about being Queen of Moorhold and going to live in the Imperial City for a while. He was looking for me, that's all, on orders from the Emperor. I was the object of a quest, nothing more than some sort of a goal. I don't think he thinks of me as a woman at all. He said I didn't look like a boy, though. She added in the face of Katisha's incredulity. Katisha knew that Baronziah evaluated every male she met in terms of sexual desirability and availability. I suppose it's the shock of finding out that I really am a queen, she added, and Katisha agreed that, yes, that's true. That must have been something of a shock, although one there was no likelihood of her experiencing firsthand. She smiled. Baronziah smiled with her. Then they hugged again, tearfully. For the last time. She never saw Katisha again, or Straw. The royal party left Riften by the Great Southern Gate. Once through, Symmachus tapped her shoulder and pointed back at the portals. I thought you might want to say goodbye to Theris too, Your Highness, he said. Baron Zaya stared briefly but steadily at the head impaled on a spike above the gate. The birds had been at it, but the face was still recognizable. "I don't think he'll hear me, although I'm quite sure he'll be pleased to know I'm fine," she said, seeming to sound light. "Let's be on our way, General, shall we?" Symmachus was clearly disappointed by her lack of reaction. You've heard of this from your friend Katisha, I suppose." "You suppose correctly. She attended the execution," Baron Zaya said casually. If he didn't know already, he'd find out soon enough. She was sure of that. "Did she know Theris belonged to the guild?" She shrugged. "Everyone knew that. It's only lower-ranking members like me who are supposed to keep their membership secret. The ones higher up are well known." She turned to smile archly at him. "But you must know all that, shouldn't you, General?" she said sweetly. He seemed unaffected by this. "So you told her who you were and whence you came, but not about the guild." "The guild membership was not my secret to tell. The other was. There's a difference. Besides, Katisha is a very honest woman. Had I told her, it would have lessened me in her eyes. She was always after Theris to take up a more honest line of work. I value her opinion." She afforded him a glacial stare. "Not that it's any concern of yours, but do you know what else she thought? She also thought I'd be happier if I settled down with just one man. One of my own race with all the right qualities, who knows how to say all the right things. You, in fact." She grabbed the reins preparatorily to assume a brisker pace, but not without sinking one final irresistible barb. "Isn't it odd how wishes come true sometimes, but not in the way you want them to? Or maybe I should say, not in the way you would ever want them to." His answer so took her by surprise that she quite forgot about cantering off. "Yes, very odd," he replied, and his tone matched his words exactly. Then he excused himself and fell behind. She held her head high and urged her mount forward, trying to look unimpressed. Now, what was it about his response that bothered her? Not what he said, no, that wasn't it, but something about the way he said it. Something about it made her think that she, Baron Zaya, was one of his wishes that had come true. Unlikely as this seemed, she gave it due deliberation. He had found her at last, after months of searching, it seemed, under pressure from the Emperor, no doubt. So his wish had come true. Yes, that must be it. But in a way, apparently, not altogether to his liking. Very, very interesting read. Well, I think I have dried out and warmed up. And let's not ever get wet like that in the last month. Last seed is the worst time to go swimming this far north. Where to now? Where should we go? Oh, yes. Let's go to Leyawiin. Oof. To Leyawiin we go. Out of that rain. It's storming all day. Storming, if that's a word. We've been having this storm all day, at least down that part of Cyrodiil. Not up here, though. Ooh, it is cold. Leyawiin. Going to one of the warmest places you can go. I can already feel it's much warmer. Warmest places in Cyrodiil, at least. Yes, much nicer. I can feel the warmth. Oh, right. So, now that we're down here, we have a bunch of things to do in Leyawiin, now that everything's been taken care of with the Umarol the Unfeathered. I have completed my holy quest, yes. Oh, Haneri wants... let's do that after I'm done with Leyawiin. I really don't want to go see that woman. Now, where was it? Knights... okay. Count Marius Caro of Leyawiin has offered to make Mazoga and myself knights errant of the White Stallion if we can find and kill the orc named Black Brugo, chieftain of the Black Bow Bandits. Black Brugo? Are you up for hunting a bandit? I believe the castle is over here. Oh yes, it's on the other side. I remember how it is now. Wait. Doesn't mean I know where I am. Yeah, we just go right through here. It's a fairly sized town. Surprised there's no guards on the outside. So if Mazoga is still here, I'm going to be quite impressed. She's been coming here every day. She is. She's in all Daedric armor. Well, Mazoga.
Hello, friend. Thank you again for your help.
I know, it was a few weeks ago. That was last year. So we're supposed to go after Black Brugo.
I know Brugo. Long ago, back before I became Sir Mazoga. I split a share or two with Brugo.
Tell me about the Count's offer.
Brugo's a jerk. He's got a hideout in a ruin called Telepi. Every night between midnight and 6 a.m., he stops there to pick up his take. We're pals, right? So we'll kill Black Brugo and be knights. I'll wait right here until you ask me to follow you.
I really don't want to ask you, but...
If you're ready to go get Black Brugo, I'm ready to follow you.
Well, I don't know where he is, so I'm ready. Come with me.
Let's go.
Kind of requires you to be there along with us.
Greetings, Breton.
It's actually really close, but she says it's there. Okay. Alright, let's go to the other side of the city.
I definitely prefer snow to rain, and Bruma to Leyawiin.
You are a strange one. I'm a quarter Nord, and I did not like that cold. Not at all. Ooh, I don't even want to get wet. My feet wet. Ooh, Nernroot. This stuff just seems to grow wherever it wants. Best goods and guarantees. Oh yes, the Five Claws Lodge. I need to return to Coral, where my home is, and speak to the... what was his name? That dark elf, that rude dark elf that gave me the quest to begin with. Alright, so Mazoga says... According to Mazoga, it's right here, but she said between 12 and 6 a.m. We may be waiting out here for a while. Oh, there's a place ahead. There's somebody seen us. Is it a bandit? Can't be Black Brugo, is it?
Die!
Hey! This just looks like a hedge wizard to me.
You're a danger.
Daedric dagger. Nice. What do you see? Okay, I take it that this is the place. Or do you see someone pass here? Oh, there is somebody up there. Hey! What are you doing up there? Oh, hostile.
I'm not afraid of you.
That the best you can do?
Pretty much, yep. Get him, Wolfgang. I have no idea he even got up there. Maybe Mazoga flung him up. Keep following Vilya. Are you still alive? I thought he was dead. Glass bow, glass dagger. Strong potion of healing. Oh, it's okay. Alright, Mazoga. So, this is the place, isn't it?
I'm with you, friend. We kill Black Brugo, and the Count makes us both knights.
What can you tell me about Black Brugo?
Expect Brugo and his boys in Telepy after midnight.
In Telepy. Heard any rumors?
I was walking past Rosentia Galenus' home the other day, and I heard these strange animal noises or something from inside. Very odd.
Animal noises?
Good day.
Well, is there any point in going there if he's not going to be in there? No stars shine upon the Doomstone. Oh, I need to use it when the stars shine upon it. Well, it's quite a few... It's going to be quite a while until then. I'd like to wait for him to go in. That statue. Before we go in. Because if we're in there, he may be able to see that we've started killing everyone, and he may leave. If there is anyone in there, it might not be just bandits in there. It could be undead, it could be necromancers, it could be a lot of things. I wish I could mark and recall. There's a lot of things that we could be doing. Are you alright, Vilya? You're giving me not a very good look.
Dearest friend, I'm so happy that you're here.
Yes, I'm happy that you're here too. Let's talk.
Of course. Is there anything in particular that you would like to discuss?
Tell me about yourself.
One thing I miss from Solstein is the snowball wars.
Oh, you were just saying
The
this.
young people in the village where I lived used to build forts of snow and roll snowballs. And then we attacked. The winner was the team that managed to destroy the opponent's fort.
Oh, destroy the opponent's
Of course,
fort.
Melinda and I cheated at times. We used our mother's meatballs and rolled them to snowballs. They were excellent ammunition. Mom got furious, of course. She said it was a sacrilege to use food as ammunition. But then she couldn't help laughing, and she gladly admitted that her meatballs never were that great as food anyway.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to go and wait. Let's wait behind a tree. Come, come. Let's just wait here.
I'm so curious over that reward Henira was talking about. Pretty please, let's go and see her as soon as possible.
After we're done in Leyawiin. Alright, so it's nearing midnight. Horses passed by here recently. Well, not my horse. I haven't seen Prophet in a while. So also while I'm here, perhaps I'll find an elite statue.
Where are you?
Yeah, well, they can hear us
Hello? Who's there?
from both sides. Bandits in glass and Daedric armor.
You humans are all the same.
Oh, you want to fight me, orc?
I fought mud crabs more fearsome than you.
I believe that was Black Brugo, and he's now dead. I must report to Maris Carl and become a knight-errant of the White Stallion. Really? Black bow? It's not really worth very much. Long sword of the Dunwall. I've looted one of these before. Boots of the Taskmaster. Cuirass of the Blood Legion. Can I take this? Yeah, I suppose I could. Potion of Healing. Black Brugo's key. Let's see why they call him Black Brugo. Filthy ugly orc. Oh, whose dog is that? Wow, Wolfgang killed him in one hit.
Am I supposed to be impressed?
I knocked Mazoga down. Who is this? Did somebody already loot the glass armor? Okay. I don't know what that just did.
You made a big mistake.
Use my skeleton key to open this. Jeweled necklace. Huntsman gauntlets. It's very lightweight.
I'm not afraid of you.
I'll take their daggers. It's worth quite a lot. Septums. Well, did I open or close something? Maybe I opened up the doorway this way. Oh. Well, this has to be one of the smallest A-League ruins I've ever seen. The key fits. From Black Brugo. Handwritten note. Brugo's take, 300 ducks, ready for Midas pickup after midnight. Yeah, I don't think I need that. Oh, this is the extent of this place, is it? Oh, I believe so. Okay. Smallest ruins. Maybe there's a wall that opens up the hidden secret button. Hidden and secret. Now that's something. So, I was to go when there was moonlight on it. Or starlight. The Shade of Shizar shrouds a hero's doom. I have gained the Shield of Shizar's greater power. Greater power. Shizar. Isn't that not a Khajiiti god? I'm not sure what it would be then. I cannot detect any... supposedly I was given something, but I cannot detect anything on me that would be from that. Odd. Alright, let us return to Leyawiin, which is close by. And of course the king will be... not the king. The count will be sleeping. Perhaps we should sleep at the Mages Guild then. Till morning.
If I ever see that
You
guy,
asked
he
for a
does
moment of your
so
time.
much-
Perhaps you'll be able to assist me. I'm after some skooma dealers.
I've never had anything to do with skooma. What is this about skooma dealers?
A small group of skooma dealers led by a Dunmer named Kailis Lanavo is holed up in the Greyland settlement, just up the road.
Greyland settlement.
I've been trying to catch Lanavo for months, but every time I approach the place, his lookout sees me, and he goes running. I need someone to go in there and put a stop to those fetchers. I don't care what it takes. We must get that poison they're selling off the street.
Fetchers,
Bring
huh?
me Lanavo's ring as proof he's been dealt with.
Well, I get
I'll
paid
give
for
you
this.
the bounty on him.
Oh, there's a bounty. Ah, okay, okay, I'll do this. Where are they?
Don't turn your back on Lanavo for a second. He wouldn't think twice about burying his blade there. Be vigilant. Lanavo is a snake.
Might be time to go there if it's red at night. He said, what did he say? Place called Greyland, and it's really close by.
Isn't it kind of odd that Legion guards don't dare to deal with skooma dealers themselves?
Well, I say it's worth looking into. It's so close by. I don't know where Mazoga went, but you know what? I don't really care. The Count can't be seen right now anyway, so I'm not gonna... It's not like she's gonna be able to go there and get all the credit. I don't know, should be... I've never... Maybe I should practice being stealthy if they're going to take off. So, let's put on my stealth outfit. Probably get rid of the gauntlets. Let's watch I don't hit my shield or my mace onto anything. I'm not sure why I'm over encumbered. Oh, the heavy armor has... Or it's, yeah, the heavy armor boots. I have to wear it. Then just forget it. I'll wear everything. I've got armor I need to sell. I guess no stealthy approach this time. Otherwise I have to drop a bunch of things. The lookouts, huh? Well, if it's just one house, it should be easy to catch them in the act. I don't know what I'm thinking, that the barrels will be full of skooma. Why not? I don't know, I'm not a skooma dealer, I don't know how they operate. Whoa! Okay, straight up fight it is then. Aye!
Take that!
There's a dark elf that's supposedly leading this. I know we found the right place. Well, I'd love to... I guess I can take this. I need to find a place to sell all of it. This cuirass, the greaves... Oh, hey, Wolfgang, you've done a good job. Let's go. Food, here. Give him some venison. Some ham on the floor, too. I'll take that for next time. So, where's all the skooma? Are they hiding it somewhere? Oh, this is the Marauder that... Ah, he's got a repair hammer. Wolfgang and Vilja took out. I'm starting to get a little concerned here. There's no skooma. Ah, okay, we found it. I don't think I've ever even touched skooma before. Strange. I just never had any interest in some kind of silly thing like that, I guess. Well, we confirmed that there's skooma here. Not as much as I thought there'd be. I thought the place would be full of it. But maybe they shipped it all out. Maybe somebody came in and got it all? Hey, whose dog is that? Odd. No, let's see. Oh, this is their lookout. That's why. They had a dog, but we didn't run into the dog, fortunately. I need Lenovo's ring as proof, he said. Lenovo? Not the Dark Elf? Yeah. I've recovered Kylius Lenovo's ring. I should bring it to Lyrexus as soon as possible to obtain my reward. Actually, it's very nice down here. It's warmer. Much warmer. Kind of like a spring day, where I was born.
Bloody skooma dealers.
Oh yeah, they were skooma dealers. I don't feel bad about their deaths. Besides which, they attacked us as soon as we entered. Well, that was easy enough.
So what's the news from Greyland? Something I can help you with?
Yes. I have, I've taken care of the skooma dealers.
You've done it! I can't even begin to thank you enough. By the divines, I salute you in the name of the Legion. Here is your well-earned reward. If you'll excuse me, I'm off to the Imperial City to check in, and then some rest and relaxation.
All right. Well, I have to go see the Count. I don't think the Count will be in until morning, so... let's go rest. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.